Hello, hello. How are you doing today? If you are a Canadian viewer, welcome back after your Thanksgiving long weekend. I hope you managed to enjoy some delicious food and good company with friends, family, or whomever you spend it with. But now it is Tuesday and we are back to business, and here we are with part 3 of the What to Do If Kegels Aren't For You series. So there is one more episode left coming up next Tuesday, so I will give you the exact time of that leading up to it. But for now, let's just move on with what we're talking about today. So we're talking about releasing the pelvic floor. And if the only thing that you are familiar with in terms of pelvic floor function is to do your kegels, this might come across as a little bit of a surprise for you. So before we move on, if you are watching live, which I see a couple of you right now, please hashtag, or please say hi. And if you're watching the replay, that's where you're going to hashtag replay. And if you want to be super awesome, you can let me know your thoughts, not just random thoughts about what you think of the content in this video. Because at the end of the day, I'm coming on here hoping to give you practical knowledge that you can start using right away at home. So many of us carry a lot of tension in our pelvic floors, and this may come again as a surprise to you, especially if your only education in pelvic floor health is to do your kegels. It's about tightening and lifting the pelvic floor and squeezing all you can. Some people might tell you you have to do a certain amount a day, but this is not realistic for some people. Though at this point in time, and I could be wrong if something came out recently, there haven't been official studies done on tension through the pelvic floor in terms of all the time tension. Have been numbers thrown around like 50% of people are walking around with too much tension in their pelvic floor. And some of it has to just do with stress. Some of it is just stress. We are stressed out. So we see the obvious things, tension in the shoulders, tension in the jaw. Those are things that we can see. But pelvic floor tension is not something we can see. So it kind of becomes this elusive thing. The only way to know for sure is to go see your friendly neighborhood pelvic floor physiotherapist. And if you are in London, there's a ton of them, and I've got some names for you, so definitely DM me and I will let you know some of those names so you can go get checked out. Even one visit is going to be life-changing because they can get the whole picture with an internal exam. But in the event that you either know already that you have tension in the pelvic floor, or you can feel the ability to lift but you can't seem to let go, then today's trick might be something that works for you. So, pardon me, I've got like a little bit of a tickle in my throat. So there's a couple of things that I have here that I just want to show you that I'll end up using today. So one of them is a yoga tune-up ball. So it comes in a little tote like this. It comes with 2 of them. And you can get these online. These have a little bit more give than the second one I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see, I'm pressing and it's got quite a bit of give. So it tends to be a little bit more comfortable. However, a set of these, last time I checked, I believe is like $14.95 American, and then you have to wait in the mail for them to arrive. An alternative is using a lacrosse ball. You can get this at Canadian Tire, Sport Check, National Sport. I tend to get packs of them at National Sport because I always send my clients home with one to start doing some soft tissue release. So that is an option for you as well. And this is going to be the one I'm going to use because I'm wearing black pants, and just white with black, you might be able to see a little bit better. So when we have tension in certain areas of the body, fascial tissues start to form tightness around those kind of constricted muscles. So I've already mentioned that stress can be a thing. For me personally, I experienced tightness through my pelvic floor during my second pregnancy, and the only way that I could really explain it is it felt like my body remembered where we were, what happened last time we were here, and it was like, nope, this baby's not coming out ever. And it hurt to sit, to go to the bathroom. I experienced pubis symphysis disorder, which is a slightly separate thing, but I had pain all around my pelvis and all around the tissues around the pelvis as well. Particularly when I was sitting on the toilet, I could feel almost this pulling sensation on my pelvic floor. And it was some work like this, as well as some other types of strength training things that I did at the time that really helped to bring comfort back. So the strength was more for the pubic symphysis situation, whereas the ball came in handy for releasing those tight tissues. So I don't want to take up too much of your time today because I already appreciate all the time you spend with me on any given week, either watching videos, reading blogs, etc. So I'm just going to back this chair up that I'm sitting on right now, and I might need to make a bit of an adjustment, which I do, with the computer here. So I'm going to lower this down just so you can see the seat of the chair. All right, so just so my head isn't cut off. So we're going to use this ball to release the back of the pelvic floor. So I'm actually looking at the fact that my pelvis is right over there. So I'm going to grab that just so you can kind of see what's happening internally a little bit. So I've got the pelvis here. The light's pretty bright, so this is kind of really being reflected here. So if you look at these two bony landmarks here, whoop, this is live, people. This is what happens. So if you look at these two bony landmarks here, this is actually your sits bone. So if you kind of feel around, if you're sitting on a chair and you lift to move some flesh out of the way, you can feel your sits bones being pressed onto the floor. And there goes the tailbone because I'm just like flipping things off here. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this lacrosse ball and finding just the inside of the sits bones on the chair. So I'm going to be turning my back to you in a second and I'll show you how that looks practically. So we want to feel that bone and go just inside it. So we're applying pressure with the ball onto that pelvic floor muscle itself. So I'm just going to turn around here. So coming down onto the chair, I'll probably do this side first. So feeling the bone there, kind of just inside. So the ball ends up essentially going between the bone itself and your anus. So sitting here and just spending some time, some people will only spend a minute here, some people will go for the full 2 minutes. That is typically recommended when it comes to myofascial release. The idea is to try to bring some evenness into the hips. So very typically during this kind of work, we want to move ourselves away from the ball, and if that's where you're at today, no problem. You can definitely do that. There's no problem with that at all, but with time, with practice, as you continue to release, we definitely want to come to a place where we feel nice and even through the hips. After your 1 to 2 minutes is up, you would then go for the other side. So, all of this to say, we're looking for about a 6, 7 out of 10 on the discomfort level. Anything more than that, I recommend to just stay away from that spot, start to release some of the tissues around that spot first before you then go on to that spot that feels like maybe an 8, 9, 10. We're working with a very little area here, so in this instance, you may want to, in fact, again, go see a pelvic floor physiotherapist, see what's going on, because we don't want to cause any bruising, which can happen with any kind of myofascial release because our pain tolerances are different. What might feel like a 6, 7 to me might just feel like a 4 or 5 to you, but you're still getting that same intensity into that spot. And some of that has to do with our pain threshold as well. But we're definitely wanting to err on that side of 6 to 7 out of 10. So just a little exercise for you to do to help release through the pelvic floor. Keeping in mind that you can also start to use some visualization work. So another one that I really like to do is getting into child's pose, visualizing the sits bones kind of separating from each other. So it is bone we're talking about. They're not really going to move apart, but having that visualization helps to relax those tissues, helps to bring them into a better state. We also do this as well in chair pose, as well as downward facing dog as you progress. But again, this is going to be your ticket to starting to release through your pelvic floor. And if you don't have pelvic floor tightness, not a big deal. You're not going to feel that same intensity, but it's still definitely super important to get yourself into that habit, because keeping in mind, your pelvic floor needs to have the ability to both contract and release. And if you are in a position where you're very tight, this doesn't mean you're super strong on your pelvic floor. It is just another type of weakness. And unfortunately, some of the same symptoms of pelvic floor dysfunction can appear whether you are too tight or too relaxed in those muscles, too weak in those muscles. Relaxed, weak. I just said they were both weak, but So definitely give it a try. Let me know. Again, you can pick up, I think this is like $3.99 or maybe something like that, just at any kind of sporting place where you can get sports stuff. Clearly sports is not my forte, but I do go in there to get some of these every once in a while. So if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, definitely post them in the comment section if you feel comfortable. If you've got a question you're not feeling particularly comfortable about asking it, because I get it. We are talking about the pelvic floor. If you're a woman, we're talking about your lady bits. And if you're a man, we're talking about your man parts. So I definitely understand that it might not be super comfortable to kind of post that publicly, but keep in mind that my inbox is always open to answer any questions. And if you are in the London area, you can sign up right now for the next round of yoga for core and pelvic health classes where we do a lot of this type of work. Registration is open now and classes start the week of November 3rd. I think the first day of class is the 5th. It's a Tuesday. So we've got morning classes, evening classes. We've got a class on Saturday, and you're going to get to experience this type of work and get firsthand knowledge, direct personalization to what your body needs. The more information you give me, the more I can plan that class specifically to you. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today and checking out part 3. Again, part 1 and 2 are available in many different places. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll guide you to it. And that's all I've got for today. So again, just huge thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy and spending this time getting to know your pelvic floor a little bit more. So that's all I got for today. Thanks so much. I've said that like 50,000 times, but I really mean it. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. And I'm going to sign off now because I get super rambly towards the end. So I'm just going to like finish this video. So thanks again for tuning in. And did you notice the sound quality is a little bit better? I got myself a fancy new mic. So you'll definitely be able to hear this one much better than the previous 2 episodes. Anyways, that's all I've got for reals now. I'm going to go eat some lunch, drink my coffee, and then I've got some clients and classes happening tonight. So I'll talk to you soon. And actually next week, I'll be posting the time for that probably next Monday. So stay tuned. Bye.